Hi, and welcome to another episode of the B-Side of Marriage podcast. My name is Rashonda, and this is my husband.
Jason.
And this is a podcast where we talk about everything related to marriage, the good and the bad, the A and
On
the
the
B
B side,
side.
yep.
All right, so usually we begin our episode with a relationship check in. But after doing some thinking, we were like, we don't necessarily want to have a therapy session for the world to see
Yeah.
when we might have a difference of opinion on the status of our relationship.
Yeah.
So, for the time being, we're going to take that out and replace it with a segment called A or B side moment. And to explain a little bit about that, a side moment is basically something that is what is considered to be everything's going right, like hashtag relationship goals moment. And B side is the reality of marriage,
Yeah.
and parenting and all that, all things associated with marriage. So you get to, I'm gonna let you pick a side and share with people. Are you gonna share A or B side moment
So
this week?
if I go B, you go A, like, or is it just?
Well, I might not have. We will see.
No, I was like,
I think I have an A side, but go ahead.
like I said, I have an A side. Just yeah,
Okay.
I have an A side. So
Okay.
my A side is what's like I said, Father's Day. Even though, like I
Okay.
said, I had to go to work.
Mhm.
Pretty much worked all Father's Day, and I came home. But like I said, my wife found stuffed shells for me. I haven't had those in a while. And then, like I said, we had dinner. It's kind of like a little date for us. We sent the kids upstairs, and we sat, talked, ate. It was, like I said, it was probably about 2 hours. We was just sitting down there
Yeah.
eating and talking. So to me, that was good. It's like it's been a while since we really just did sat down and just really ate like that. Since we don't be going out in the world like that. So
No, that's good. But you forgot a part about I woke up early before you went to work and made you breakfast. You
you
forgot that
showed
part.
you
Yeah.
showed did,
That's
yeah.
okay. That's okay.
No, you showed. She did. She got me made some chicken and waffles. Yeah, yeah. She showed did. That's my fault. Yeah.
Sorry. No, it's okay. It's
Yeah.
so I was also going to share a side moment. This weekend was the first time that we really had opened up our home
Yeah.
to family and friends. We celebrated Juneteenth,
Yeah.
as well as our youngest graduated from pre-K, and then our daughter graduated from kindergarten. So we had a graduation slash Juneteenth celebration, and it was just really great to kind of feel like it felt like things were back to normal.
Yeah.
So it was good.
It's not gonna keep happening like that,
Oh
but
no, 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 no!
it
If
felt it
I
felt for that
forgot,
moment. For that
yeah,
moment. So
yes, because we usually are the entertaining house, but quarantine kind of taught me that you don't have to do all that. So it was really an adjustment to like have to do all that work, have to do all the prep, set up, and then clean up. And I was just like, yeah, this part I don't miss.
yeah.
But the fellowship and just hanging out, that was amazing. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah. Okay. So we
All
gonna
right.
go
So
into
what are we talking about this week?
um.
I say Jason produced this week's episode. So
Why'd you have to say that? Like no,
well,
that
no, because
that is the
you're gonna
pressure.
because
That
usually
is
no,
pressure
because
on me.
usually I do most of the talking.
You probably gonna do most of the talking anyway. But
No,
all right. So
no, 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 no.
so this week we're gonna actually talk about comparison,
Mm-hmm.
and not just in marriage, just comparison all around. Because
Okay.
when you get married, by looking and seeing things outside of your marriage, there's always going to be, not say always, but if you can get caught up in that comparison with either other couples, even older couples, like you like for there's a comment you always say is like, man, when I get was it when I get older, I want to be like y'all.
Oh yes.
Like so it's couples who are
Mm-hmm.
successful, if it's financially or whatever, you say that, so that's a comparison. You're still
Mm-hmm.
making a comparison to you and then what you see. So but I came across this interesting quote that I'm gonna start it off with.
Yeah.
And the quote was, marriage is like a clock, always working even when you don't pay attention to it, but occasionally it needs to have its batteries recharged. So I came across this just like when I was kind of producing this episode, and it made me think of, just how it is, with marriage. Like, we if you're not paying attention to it, if you don't, you don't get a notification. Like if you have a watch or something like that, notification your battery's low. If you have a clock, you don't notice that if the battery's low until it stops. So, and that's what, like, the same thing within our marriage. We have to pay attention to it and be able to recognize if things are slowing down, so you can actually, recharge your marriage. So, I don't know. What do you think about that quote?
So how does that have to? What does that have to do with comparison?
It doesn't. Honestly, it doesn't. I saw the quote. I thought it was
Okay.
interesting.
Okay. Well, no, I was just trying to, because my husband, he's like the deep one. So sometimes
It wasn't. No, it's not.
Okay.
It wasn't deep. I saw that and I was like, this is something. Just, I guess, just a reminder of what, as married, as a couple, what we have to do. We got to be always on alert. And I guess
Agreed.
it kind of goes into comparison,
Okay.
because if you're not being if you're not on alert or noticing that you're using, when we talk about the different comparison killers, you're not noticing these different things that are killing your marriage. You have to you have to be on alert and pay attention to it.
Agreed.
So maybe
Yes.
that's
Okay.
so yeah,
We got there. Yes.
it came around. I'm sorry, it came around.
Yes, because I definitely agree with the quote. When you also goes back to the attention portion of it. If you're too busy looking at someone else's marriage, someone else's circumstances, you're not realizing what's going on right in your marriage. So you don't know that it needs to be recharged. Yeah. You don't know that there's neglect there, or that things are just off, or that you just need to step away from day-to-day stuff and have some time together, to recharge. So I definitely agree with it. Marriage is something that you have to pay attention to on a daily basis, because it's the little moments. It's like the little moment, the little daily moments that actually builds a successful and a healthy marriage.
Correct. So we're gonna kind of, I guess, start with our first comparison killer.
Okay.
First one I came up with is discontentment. So
what does that mean?
Definition wise, I don't really have the definition behind.
Okay.
This is, just, again, I should have did, a definition first, but
okay,
as you can tell, that's how how I'm probably produced. But anyhow, so discontentment can be something like you're putting your spouse up against everything else you're seeing. Like, for instance, and I'm not gonna say this is what I do, but you see, you see, a husband sees another wife, making their husband plate of food, and then it's like, why don't you make, and then the husband, why don't you make food for me? And it's like, so you're comparing what another spouse does, with their spouse, that you want your spouse to do with you. So it could be on any of the social medias you see, if it's TikTok, any what it is. And basically, what discontentment does, it makes us focus on what we don't have instead of taking for granted what we do have. So
it helps drive a person to believe that what they have is not enough, and then that's why they become dissatisfied with where they are, because they're comparing it to someone else's. And that's why I feel like the best way to overcome discontentment is to focus on gratitude, to be grateful for what you have instead of what you don't have. And also the drive to, I feel like right now society is very much in a hustle, like go and get it yourself, you can do this kind of like mentality, that it minimalizes what you do currently have and where you currently stand. And so that way, when you do achieve things, you're like, but it's still not enough. And so you're not grateful for what you have been able to accomplish. Case in point, our Instagram. This is all new to us. The BSide and being on social media and trying to be public with our marriage, our relationship. And so I didn't want to really celebrate 100 followers. I'm like, it's 100. Like, yes, that's a lot, but at the same time, compared to other people we see in the coaching space, we were like, well, that's not really a lot. But there I went minimizing the accomplishment that we were able to achieve because I felt like it wasn't enough. But anyways, here's a little plug. If you're not following us on IG, please follow at Bsideofmarriage account, and you can get all of our daily like inspiration and encouragement and jokes.
So. Yes. So I guess my question I'm gonna ask you is like, how do you get past the discontentment?
Well, that's what I said. Just being grateful for where you are, where you stand. So, a part of my like daily devotional time is I always start off listing at least 3 things that I'm grateful for. That's so good. That way it grounds me on where I am and where God has brought me, to today. And that way, I always think I can think on those things throughout the day when I start to think, oh, well, I don't have this, or I don't, don't do this or whatever. So it just allows me to be able to come back to the present instead of it allows me to come back to the present instead of focusing on what I don't have or any like future.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. Going with that, so is there any like I'll say reoccurring like, because again, I'm gonna say this for myself. I know when I'm writing stuff about being grateful and stuff like that, my vocabulary, I don't have a vast vocabulary. I'm gonna say that like that. Okay. So does any of the grateful words or things that you have, like it can go multiple days doing that, instead of say like you got 3 and then you have 3 things that you're grateful for, but it could have been something you was grateful for. The same thing, the same word could be something you're grateful for today.
So I list specific examples of things that I'm grateful for. Okay. And also I have a feelings chart. Oh, that's a part of my
that helps.
That's part of my like notebook area. Shout out to therapy. So yeah, so because we often are unable to identify exactly what that feeling is, other than our basic like, oh, I'm sad or I'm happy. The feelings chart actually provides more detail around getting to the specific feeling, and so that's why I identify the specific feeling, so I can specify what thing that I'm grateful for.
That's good.
Instead of just saying, oh, because I grew up churchy, so the main thing is like, oh, I'm grateful for God waking me up this morning. Yeah. Yes, but more specifically, what has He done? So.
Okay, no, that's good. I'm gonna have to take a picture of that so I have.
Yes, I'm sure we can link down below like a copy of it.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. Okay, so we're gonna go into the next part of a comparison kill is hopelessness. Hopelessness, and that is basically evaluating how others are doing based on couples who are further along with you. So that was kind of like what I stated earlier. It's like, you have a couple that you kind of could be mentors that you look up to, and you see that if they can even be married a few years older than you, but they're at a point where that's where you want to get. That's where I want to be there too. And there's a positive and negative behind it, because it can be the positive. It can be that this is a goal that you guys can strive for, but the negative part could be is that one couple is striving for that and other couple's not, because you never had that conversation about it. So that's just and
yeah, no, I think hopelessness also comes into play when you there are things that you see from in other marriages that you want to be that you want to see in yours. Yeah. And that there are things that what comes into my so let me see. Okay. I think Hopelessness comes into play also when there are attributes or things that you see in other marriages that you want to see done in yours,
Hmm.
and you try to do some of the work associated to make that happen.
Yeah.
And when you don't see the results,
Yeah.
you're like, I give up.
Yeah.
It's never gonna happen for me. And then you get, well, that kind of leads into the next one. But so it's also feeling like because that's what you want,
Yeah.
you can make it happen. Like you can, like I can change you
Gotcha.
in
Okay.
order to for us to become that couple that I admire.
Yeah. So
You know what I'm saying?
and
Yeah.
that doesn't make our story unique, because now we're trying to repeat
Right.
somebody
Because
else's.
we're trying to copy them,
Yeah.
and we don't know what they went through
To get to
to
that
get
point.
to that.
Yeah.
Yes. Mhm.
So yeah. Okay. So yeah. So we're trying to live our life, live somebody else's life, but not ours.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah, and that is easy because I mean it's just so easy because there are things you can see the way a couple communicates, and you're just like, oh, it seems like they're just in tune with each other.
Yeah.
It's like they just know, like they know each other so well.
Yeah.
And so then you start feeling like, oh, well, my husband or my wife, they don't know me, so we must be doing something wrong.
Yeah.
So either so I might interpret it that as, okay, so in order for you to know me is because I have to tell you everything. And so I have to nag. It can then result into nagging because I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, because I need you to do the laundry. I need you to take the kids here. I need you to do the dishes. I need you to do the dishes this way. Like it become a point where I'm like over communicating to a
Yeah.
point where you receive it as nagging.
Gotcha.
And
Gotcha.
now not only are we not communicating well, it's like we're probably like going the opposite direction, like
Yeah.
creating space because we're like, we just need a break.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you
yeah.
can't.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, this is.
Well, I was just saying, yeah, you just can't you can't just see something, just like even on social media, you can't just see an image or a short clip or whatever and think that you're able to uh, recreate that within your marriage without doing the true work.
Yeah. And then
And that's on both parties.
I think, and that can be dangerous, because what that can do is it's basically crushing that unique thing that God is trying to do in your marriage. And I'm gonna give an example of that. Yeah. So yeah, it's like we've been doing like a coaching for our business, and um, we had we had a moment, and I'm gonna say we had a moment because we saw another couple doing stuff, and they're getting a lot more feedback than we are, and then
Well, they were seeing a lot of quicker results.
Yeah, quicker results. Yeah. So we've been focused, we've been doing all this stuff, and we didn't feel like we was getting the response, or the response that we was hoping by all the information that we're giving out, and that we're trying to help couples with. But then we see another couple is like, on the surface it looks like they just started, but on
the surface it looked like an apples to apples comparison.
Yeah, but
when
it wasn't.
In actuality it's not.
Yeah.
And I think we do that so often because it's like we just see something and we're just like, oh, it seems to come easy.
Yeah.
It comes easy for them. So therefore it's not right because we're having to work so hard for it.
There it is. Yeah.
It should come easy for us too.
Yeah. But again, it's not an apples to apples comparison, because we're starting at ground zero. They already they already had a following, so they're already steps ahead of us. So it's like you can't compare somebody and I would say, somebody's that's at 50, that somebody's at 0. It's like you do on a scale of 100. You can't compare,
right.
If somebody started the race at 50 and you started at 0, and you expect to be at the same place as them. So that was an example that it was, like I said, it was tough. But so let me ask, so how do you think we got past it? And I know, I guess for me, I know it for a moment, like I said, for a moment, it kind of bothered me because that's what I thought. And then again, that's where it was God just telling me, it's like, we all, in marriage, we're all of us, regardless of where you are in your marriage, the years that you're together, we're all on this journey. And like we said, we can't compare to somebody else's marriage because again, their journey is different than ours, regardless of when they started. Because you can have two people that have been married for the same amount of years, 10, 12, 10 years. Their journeys all started differently, so you still can't compare yourself to somebody who's been married exactly the same time because there's different things that you face
The
at different
stories are
times.
different. Yeah.
So, and it's unique to your marriage.
I mean, I feel like the way that I overcame it was to focus on what I could control.
That's good.
I couldn't control how people would respond to post. I just continued to just do what I know that I needed to do. I need to do what I've been coached to do, and I need to do what God has built me for. It went back to really just being my authentic self. Um, because I can only be me and I can only show up as me, even like on social media, even in our relationship.
Yeah.
Like I can try to be someone else, but it won't work because first
That's
of
not
all,
you.
you're gonna be like, why are you acting like that?
Oh yeah, I would say that. I'm rude sometimes.
Yeah, most of the time. But yeah, he's like, well, why are you acting like that? And it's just, yeah, it just won't work. So I just went and I just did what I know what I was supposed to do and speak in my authentic voice.
Yeah.
And not focus on everything else. Because at the end of the day, I'm only going to be judged on my actions and reactions.
Correct.
So I just have to keep doing, I just keep doing what I know is true for me.
Okay. So and then our third comparison killer is jealousy. So let's say you was gonna start on it. You wanna go
Well,
on it?
yeah, I was just saying because I was saying before how like you because it seems so easy for other people to do certain things or to be a certain way with each other, you could very well become jealous.
Yeah.
Jealous and envious of what that other couple has.
Yeah.
And by doing that, it just really harpens on the feelings of you're feeling unimportant. Are you just feeling inferior and inadequate? And those are all like negative things that you're carrying on just by comparing your situation and your relationship to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess how has jealousy played a part in, when you're, I guess, comparing our situation to others? And it doesn't have to be deep, but
No,
I have a situation in mind.
yeah, and honestly, when I was doing this part, this was I would say the toughest part. I would say for me because instantly I couldn't think of anything like really me getting jealous because, and I'll say like I guess I'll say it like this: I never, even as a kid, we didn't have all tons of money, so I never really was jealous about what people have versus what I had. So I guess I've never really. I guess I've said maybe I've had felt that, but I don't never. When I'm reading the definition, I was like, I never really felt like I was being robbed, like being robbed of something that I didn't have. So that's why. So it's kind of that's why I was like, I didn't. The other two topics, I was like, oh, I was instantly had examples, and then this one, I was just like, I was really like, okay, because again, like, what is it like? Jealousy wants you to feel robbed and to believe that, I guess, their happiness came at a cost to you, and I guess I can't really say that I've been jealous of another couple or of somebody else because their happiness is their happiness, and I can't. So I can't. I never. I can't. I couldn't put an example to that. That's
Okay, so maybe I've experienced being envious.
Okay.
instead of jealous. Because yeah, that whole feeling robbed, like that they got their happiness because they took some away from me.
Yeah. So
That
that's why I
part
can't.
I don't like,
Yeah.
but I have been, especially in where we live now, very envious of people getting pools.
Oh.
Very envious.
Okay.
And I feel robbed because I feel like we would be in that conversation if I hadn't got laid off.
Okay.
So they're like literally we are surrounded by our neighbors who are getting pools. Um, and it's like a constant reminder that we're not there yet.
Yeah.
And so
I can see that.
I'm just like, "Ah, but I want the pool. Like we have a nice sized backyard. I was like, I want to be able to do the backyard. Like I want to do the reno of our backyard.
Yeah.
Because I want to be able to just go out there and chill and relax and all that things, all of the things. But we're not there yet.
Yeah.
And also, I don't know their story in getting the pools.
Yeah.
Like
How long they waited to get
I don't know
one.
how long they waited. I don't know if they're going into debt for the
Yeah.
pool. Like there's certain, like we have criteria on what
Yeah.
on when we will get that get the backyard done.
We need cash for
And
that.
yeah, we're gonna pay cash for
Yeah.
it, so we're gonna save for it because we don't want to go into debt for a renovation.
Mhm.
But I'm just saying, I don't know their story,
Yeah.
so I can't be envious of something because it could very well. I mean, nothing is preventing me from calling the pool company
Like,
and
come
come
out.
and get a rendering and be like, oh, you know what? Let's do this.
Yeah.
Now, by me doing that, I'm stepping out of out of alignment with my husband because
Yeah.
we have set up this criteria on what that we're paying cash for it.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know what God has for us. So it could be I rush and I go and I get into a contract with the wrong pool company.
Yeah.
We overpay, or they come and they do a shoddy job, and then we have to do all these other repairs to fix their like. I don't know what other can of worms I'm opening up by being out of alignment.
Correct. Yeah. No, that's good.
Because I'm jealous of because usually jealousy is more than likely it's a lot. I shouldn't say more likely. A lot of times it's very superficial. It's over materialistic things.
Yeah.
So it can, and bringing it back to marriage, it can be over weddings. It can be over engagement rings or wedding rings.
Yeah, that's true.
But like, oh, she got a 2.5 carat princess cut. I'm not into rings, so I don't even know.
And then it can be, oh, they're gonna have 500 people. I want 1,000. Like,
exactly. Like you get caught up in the wrong things. You get caught up in the wedding, in the bridal party.
Yeah.
Then because y'all got married, we have to have a house. We got to have this big house.
Yeah.
Oh, we're having a baby. Oh, we have to have this shower, this gender reveal, this shower,
we
and
need
this.
To have 5 bedrooms for one baby.
Yes, like it can get crazy. It just by you looking at someone else.
Yeah.
And I was like, and it doesn't benefit you or your marriage.
It doesn't, because again, it just, what was it? I'm trying to remember how to say that. It also pushes people away.
Yes.
It pushes people away that are experienced this, I guess, happiness that you feel that you aren't. So like, you can have a couple that you're close with, and you see that, oh, they just got a new house. And then 2 months later, they got a pool. And it's like, wait, why can't we do that? We just got a house. Why can't we have a pool in 2 months? Like, that's
right, because it put unnecessary pressures on your relationship.
Yeah, so you can push them away,
which drives a wedge in between you two.
Yeah, because you don't want, you're like, you know what? No, we're not gonna hang out with them no more because they uppity or whatever. It could be whatever. Like, I'm just saying, like, come on, that's what people say sometimes.
They might say bougie.
I guess.
But no, I agree because right, because you're not gonna want to hang out with them. Yeah. Because you feel less than.
Correct. Yeah.
But also, what I was saying, it put pressures on your relationship because
we gotta match that.
Well, because one person might be feeling like, yes, we need to match that, while the other person's like, I don't get it.
Yeah, it's like, Wow.
Right. And so it's like you're putting extra pressures on the relationship by saying, oh, well, this is what we need to do. Like, and then like basically reprioritizing things that goals and
Yeah.
visions
Yeah.
that you guys have decided on together for the sake of trying to be like the other
And
couple.
if you have been setting those goals,
Yeah,
if you haven't set these goals, and now you're putting something ahead of,
exactly. Hmm.
so it goes back to communicating with your
Hmm.
spouse, so yeah, y'all have a plan of what y'all want to do, instead of
Hmm.
just be like, oh, I see that, I want to do that. So no, that's good. That's
Right.
good.
And that could, even though, so there could be couples that I see that I'm like, hey, I think we should be more like them. You might see a whole different couple, but like, I think we should be like them. And so we're going in two different directions
Hmm.
with our relationship instead of talking and communicating and trying to decide what's best for us
Yeah.
so that we can show up the best in the world.
No. Yeah.
And also, while you're too busy looking at other people, you don't know who's looking at you.
Mm.
So you
Mm.
might be somebody's role model
Yeah.
and you're too busy trying to be like someone else. And y'all have the people who are looking at you and they're like, we don't know what to do. Like we thought
No.
they were chill, like
Yeah.
they were genuine people, but
Yes.
now we're like, we're not sure.
Yeah. That's
So
true.
this was like, you have to just be who you are as a couple, pour into your relationship, into your marriage, find out what it means to be you,
Hmm.
so that you can show up well.
Hmm. That's not. Yeah. I tell
There's
you.
always someone looking at you,
Yes.
even if it's a
Yes.
kid.
Yes. Yes. Because yeah, we've I say we've gone through that, but yeah, we didn't realize so many people are looking at us. And mind you, we've always, yes, not say presented ourselves. We always, I don't know how to say it,
Mm.
because we don't put on a facade. That's what I'm saying. Like, we are
Mm.
who we are, and it always seems like people always are always drawn to us.
Mm.
And there's people that are always, and like I said, we've had people that just came up to us randomly, like, they know of us, but we don't know them. And then it's like, oh, so people are watching us, right?
Yes,
It's,
yes.
yeah. So
Right. And I feel like to that point, don't minimize your worth,
yes.
because by minimizing your worth, you minimize your impact.
Hmm.
And you don't know, like God is so big, so all knowing, like he can use you in big or small ways. And by you feeling like you're less than, you're not meant to do much, like your relationship is just, oh, it's just, yeah, we're married, but we're just married, like
We here.
we're not married, like,
We gonna put two
because
word behind.
if you said the same word twice, then that means it's serious, right?
Married.
But when you do that, uh you're minimizing what God has done in your life and God doing in your relationship. And you don't know how your testimony will have an impact on someone else,
Correct.
and on someone else's life.
Okay. No, that's okay.
So
So I'm gonna kind of let me repeat the comparison killers.
yes.
And what I want everybody to do is kind of just think about, this week or over the past 2 weeks, if any of these have affected your marriage, and then if it has, how are you gonna get past these comparison killers? So,
Okay.
first one is discontentment again, and a quick definition is just, putting your spouse up against, everything you see out, if it's social media, if it's at the store, all those different things. And it's hopelessness. Did I say that right?
Yes, you're trying to put an S's on the end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just
It's
hopelessness.
and that one's evaluating
Yeah.
how others are doing based on the couples that are further along than you. And then jealousy is just basically comparing yourself to others, that and where you feel inadequate, unimportant, and inferior. So, I guess that's your homework for this week. To
To what? What is the
I
homework
said,
again?
I just said the homework to kind of like review and see if any of these, these comparison killers are present in your marriage right now, and try to and sit down with each other and figure out how you guys can get past these comparison killers and not let it affect your marriage anymore.
Good stuff.
Well, I'm glad you guys checked in again and listened to us.
Yes.
Again, like as always, subscribe and hit the like
Like the
button.
video.
Yeah,
Yes.
like the video, and then like I said, just share with anyone that friends that you think maybe want to need to hear something like this. And then as well as follow us on
IG.
IG at Beside of Marriage. and
Facebook.
and Facebook. We have Facebook group. If you guys want to join,
Yes.
it's the B-side marriage group. So just find us and join. And I guess we'll see you next week.
Yes. Peace.
Later.